All right, so it's that time of the night that most of you have been waiting for. Time to mind our language and mind our pronunciations. So let me bring in Willice the Word Master joining us live and direct from Kisumu County. Willice, it's great to see you. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Betty. How is the capital city?
Well, the capital is doing great, Willice, and today we want to start off by taking a look at word on the street, Willice. This time, this was a tough one for very many Kenyans. Let's start with that.
Seka, seka, seka.
Saka. Saka.
Saka, saka, saka.
Saka. Saka. Sosa. Sosa. Sosa.
Sakawa, sakawa, sakawa.
Suko, suko, suko.
Saka, saka, saka.
Saka. Saka.
Saka, saka, saka.
All right, Willice. So everybody almost pronounced it the same way. Is it Saka, secure, secure? How do we say it, Willice? Or are they right?
Betty, in fact, many people got that word right in terms of the pronunciation, but the one which really, caught my attention was Sakawa. Sakawa, that reminds me of a name in the Kisii community, Sakawa or Tenyo and all that, but this word is pronounced as Saka. Saka, that is to give help or to bring help to somebody who is suffering or who has problems. To give or bring Saka, that is help to somebody who is suffering or somebody who has problems. So
Interesting.
Saka is the correct or acceptable pronunciation.
I'm so impressed that, most of the Kenyans actually got this right. So I think we're doing something here, Willice, every Friday night. We're not just talking to ourselves, we're doing something. Willice, when we started...
Yes, I told you that there are so many Kenyans out there who know the pronunciation of some of these tricky words. Like the one who told us about Tobias, the lady you hosted the other time.
Tobias.
She talked of Tobias, not Tobias the way we said it locally.
And on that note, Willice, we have Babu Namwamba as our guest anchor, and his first name happens to be Pius or Pius. So which is which? Let's help him just in case he's been pronouncing it all wrong.
Betty, Pius is pronounced as Pius.
Okay.
Pius,
All right.
Pius.
So he was right.
But locally, you'll find many people comfortable with Pius. Just like the name Linus. Linus. Locally, many people would say Linus. But such kind of mispronunciations are common. But with names also, remember, we have variations of pronunciations depending on what we may call now the geographical factor.
Got it, Willice. There's also another word that came up, dinosaur or dinosaur, or dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Dinosaur.
Okay.
Dinosaur.
Dino.
You say dinosaur.
Or dino,
Yes.
not dinad. Okay, got it. Dinosaur. All right, Willice, thank you for that.
Dinosaur, yes.
Dinosaur. That's correct. Dinosaur. All right, got it.
Right.
All right, Willice, let's continue with the list that I have here. All right, so this next one, I'll spell it out. Indebted. Indebted, indebted, indebted. Which is which, Willice?
Oh. Betty, letter B is silent in that word. You say indebted, indebted. Just like we don't say debit, you say debt. B is silent, so you say indebted, and you also say debt. Debt collector, debtor, not debitor. Yes.
Wait, Willice, you said indebted, tid or ted?
Indebted, indebted, not indebted. It's indebted, indebted.
Indebted, yeah?
Yes, indebted.
Wow. Wow, Willice. I mean, I've been pronouncing that word wrong all my life, Thank you for that. And indebted is the word. Willice, let's move on to this other one. I see you're on fire today. I don't know if it's because you're wearing, is that red or orange? Orange.
It's red, Betty. It's
Okay.
red.
All right, Willis. Let's move on to
It's
the...
knowledge that is exuding fire. It's knowledge that is making me sound like I'm on fire, Betty.
knowledge. Willis, there's a time you told us that do we say orange or orange?
You say orange, orange. What we are used to, sometimes, Betty, the biggest problem about, learning a second or target language, especially the foreign languages, is that listening aspect of it. When you are listening to the way, a word is pronounced. Like now, about. Locally, you would hear of about.
Yeah.
That off glide, the weak vowel sound, which is at the end, you'd hear it like an O, but it's normally what we call the diphthong, ow, about, route, bout, shout. But with us, we are used to shout, about, route, and all that.
About, right?
About.
Okay, Willis, got it. So we say orange and knowledge. Got it, Willis. Hey, let's move on, Willis, to the next one. And this one I'll still spell it out. I don't want to try because this week I don't want to embarrass myself too much. So I'll spell it out. Decrepit.
Oh, decrepit. That is, we are talking about something that is, like a building or something that is old and it is in bad condition. Something that is in bad condition and it's old. Or even a person who is very old but also maybe in bad health. The person looks, to be in a bad condition in terms of health and all that. So you say decrepit, not decrepit, decrepit.
Decrepit. Moving on to this other word. Exposure, is that the correct word for the pronunciation for this word?
Exposure. You can say X or exposure. The tricky aspect or part of that word, Betty, is that terminal part. Ja. Exposure. So somebody may say exposure, that is, what I'm talking about, or somebody may say exposure, but you say j. Just like Betty, you've realized many people mispronounce the word coalition as collision. I don't know whether you've always realized that.
Yes, very, very true.
Locally, somebody's talking about, a coalition of parties, and somebody finds himself or herself saying collision. Collision is from the verb collide, to collide, head-on collision. But when we talk about, the coming together of parties and all that, we say coalition.
Is that correct? Coalition.
Yeah, so it's shon.
Oh,
it's not voiced. There is no vibration of the vocal cords, Betty. You say shon, coalition, just like location, sh. The sound sh, but the other one has the sound j, casual, collision. Okay. So a bit tricky, Betty. But with drills, you can master that.
Very tricky, Willis, very tricky. Willis, let's move on to the next word. But wait, so you can say exposure. I mean, that's a surprise, but I'm going to be using that moving forward.
Exposure or exposure.
Okay.
Just like you can hear somebody talking about exams or exams. I think you've realized that. So those are now the nuances of pronunciation. They're not very serious, mistakes or some kind of, mispronunciations are just, the minor ones. So they are always there. They're acceptable, they're allowed, and, you have not to tell somebody, stop saying exposure.
Okay.
That would be wrong.
Okay.
It's X or X.
All right, but for me, as Betty, I'll use exposure. I think it sounds much, much better. Willis, let's continue. So there's this word, and I know especially in this season, we'll be talking about it so much. But then do we say season or season? As we season
or season.
Okay, all right.
Reason or reason.
All right. All right, Willis. So let me get to my question.
Yes.
And I'm asking about this one. Do we say aspirant or aspirant? Because, you hear some, mistakes and you wonder. So talk to us about it.
Betty, I always want to be very clear about matters pronunciation, especially when we deal with English or when we are talking about English. There are certain words which have what we call alternative pronunciations, just like I've always given the example of issue and issue, finance and finance. Now, when you talk about this word, it also has two acceptable pronunciations which are alternatives. You can say aspirant, or you can say aspirant.
Okay.
Aspirant, acceptable.
Okay.
Aspirant, acceptable. So the two can be used as alternatives.
All right, Willis, got it. Moving on to another word, and this one has just come in. And let me spell it out, W-O-R-R-Y, to be concerned about something or to really focus on something. Do we say, I'm worried about you, I'm worried about you? Which is which?
Betty, letter O
Yeah.
in that word takes what we call the mid-central vowel sound to worry.
Worry.
But when you deal with the past tense or the past participle, you don't say worried or worried. That read, you say read. I'm worried about the whole story. I'm worried. So you say wa, not wo, and you say read, not read. Just like married, carried, parried. I hope you can now get the sounding in the ending of those words. Worried.
Worried. Got it, Willis. Thank you for that. Moving on to the next one, and this one has been asked so many times on my Twitter handle as we move on to the feedback questions, and I'll spell it out. S-U-B-P-O-E-N-A. How do we pronounce that one? Subpoena?
Betty, that is a word that is used in law.
Yes.
And in fact, that is where, respectable lawyers would tell you that it's about, a written order that wants somebody to attend court to give evidence as a witness. So you don't say subpoena, that B is silent. Then O and E combine to represent the long vowel sound E, what we now call a digraph. So you say subpoena, not subpoena, not subpoena, subpoena.
Subpoena. Got it, Willis. Got it.
That is how you pronounce that word.
All right, Willis. So I'll hand over to you, Willis, for the words that you have from the feedback from your handle. Take us through that.
Betty,
yes.
There are so many, but we'll try to, the rest that I cannot handle, I'll do that one
next
tomorrow.
week.
That is on Twitter. But Jesse Madegwa, we say alkalinity. Alkalinity. Don't say alkalinity. We have alkaline, but you say alkalinity. That glide line, you don't use it when we're talking of linity. Alkalinity, but say alkaline. So Jesse Madegwa, I think you are from Busia, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Then Gitobu Gwantai of Egerton, University, Njoro, you say medieval. And we have Wendo Ken, medieval. Then we have Wendo Ken, you say massacring. Massacring. So Ken Wendo, you can get that from us and our dear viewers.
Right.
Henry Karidhi, you say expedite, to expedite. Then expedition, then expeditiously. That is also sometimes used in, courts of law or by lawyers. Kevin Owino, you say, I think you're the one who asked about aspirant or aspirant. Then James Obare Manuguti. Mzee, I'm seeing the word Mzee. Mzee James Obare Manuguti, And Vincent from Mochengo, Kisi.
Right.
Oh, we are also proud of you. Thank you so much for your love for Friday Briefing and Mind Your Language. Justin Chalo, you
Right.
say fatal. Fatal, not fatal. Fatal, fatal, a fatal accident. So Justin Chalo,
Okay.
there you are. Or that is the way you should do it. Chief Morias, esophagus. Esophagus. Don't say oesophagus or oesophagus. No. Esophagus. And you also say
Okay.
phoenix. Phoenix, not phoenix.
All right.
Fetus, not foetus or foetus. Fetus, esophagus, phoenix. You should get that.
Got
Isir
it.
Abdullahi, Nasra Musa, and Mohammed Gaido, we also thank you so much. Ibrahim Haji of Mombasa, you say sleuth. Sleuth, a detective. A sleuth, that is S-L-E-U-T-H.
A sleuth.
Sleuth.
Okay. All right.
Champion Hamfo Blue, you say Christian. Christian.
All right.
Then Daniel Ndirangu, you say liar, L-Y-R-E. L-Y-R-E is liar, just like L-I-A-R.
All right.
Then you
Willis.
say also tota. Moseti Mogeni, conscientious. Conscientiously. It's a very tricky word, Betty, if you remember when we started Mind Your Language.
Right, Willis.
Conscientious and conscientiously.
Okay.
Very tricky. Then finally,
Yes, finally.
Jonathan Okwemba, you say abhor, abjure, and tear. T-I-E-R, you pronounce it as tear, not tire. That is when we are talking about the layers, like when you have a cake, you say
Yes.
the tiers.
The third
tiers, those are
tier.
the layers.
All right,
but
Willis.
remember, the person who ties something, you call that person a tire. A
Okay.
tire.
All right,
Now,
Willis.
Betty,
Yes.
we have the word which is our surprise word for tonight. When we talk of a large pile of earth, soil or stones, in most cases many people would say the mound or the mound, which is inaccurate. The correct or acceptable pronunciation of this word is mound.
Mound.
A mound.
Mound.
Not mound, not mound. Yes, mound. Just like
Mound.
sound, round, pound. So you say mound.
All right,
And
Willis.
the very final part of it, Betty, the confusing words. T-R-O-O-P and T-R-O-U-P-E. The upper word is referring to a group of soldiers or scouts. You say troop. Troop.
Okay.
The lower one talks about a group of singers or actors who are together. There is no difference between the two words when it comes to pronunciation. They are spelled differently, but pronounced the same way.
All right.
You say troop
Okay.
for the upper one and the lower one, and such words are called homophones.
Yeah, Willis, thank you so much.
Back to you, Betty.
That was fire, Willis. Thank you so much. Subpoena and indebted. That's what people are talking about, indebted. But thank you so much, Willis.
Exposure or exposure?
Yes, exposure.
Yes.
All right, Willis, the word master. You can always tweet him at Willice Ochieng1, ask him all the questions you have, or you can just choose to wait for Friday briefing, and then you can have him here on Mind Your Language, all right? So that's it for this week's edition of Mind Your Language. Coming up shortly is sports.